Exomologiste to Kyrio te agathos, alleluia.
Otis ton neona to eleos aftu, alleluia.
On the uncreated temple. So which Quran actually has that recitation?
The meaning. So you can refer to a video with your brother. I forgot his name. The one that looks like Wesley Snipes. Wes. You can refer to a video with Wes about can the uncreated exist in creation. Yeah?
You see, but I don't have a problem with uncreated existing in creation because I believe Jesus is incarnate, bro. So I got no problem with that. That doesn't answer my question.
So you're trying to identify.
No, but that doesn't answer my question, bro.
I understand. You're trying to identify what actually entered creation in terms of Quran. That's what you're asking.
Yeah.
And I'm explaining to you that in that question that Wes posed to me about can the uncreated exist in creation, I have answered that.
Bro, but you could answer me now, right?
Okay, but it took 2 hours to answer him. That's
Bro,
my point.
I don't know where's this, bro. I've never seen that video, bro. I just want to know because if it's gonna take 2 hours to answer this question, I feel like we're gonna go around in a lot of circles.
Is that on your channel?
Then you should accept Christ.
I feel like we're gonna go around in a lot of circles, though,
find
bro.
it there.
No. I'll look for it when I get home. But while I'll look for it when I get home, I want to know: can you summarize that 2 hour argument that you made to him in like 5 minutes? Because I don't mind letting you speak for 5 minutes uninterrupted. I don't mind letting you have a soliloquy.
The simplest way is that it would essentially be the created word that entered creation. God created that word for it to enter creation.
That's perfect. That's perfectly fine, bro. I just want to know which Quran do we have today that closest resembles that created word that entered creation?
They all do.
But they're all different.
What do you mean they're all
If there's
different?
any differences between them, would that be an issue?
If you're talking about differences like one says Maliki Yawmiddin, the other one says Maliki Yawmiddin, then no, because they kind of mean the same thing.
Okay.
So if one says king and the other one says owner, it's fine.
Okay.
What if there is something that's to do with legislation? I don't know if you've seen the one to do with legislation where it speaks of how many you feed, whether it's one person you feed or whether it's many people, many that you feed. I don't know if you know about the variation that is there where it says that it's one person you feed or many people that you feed. I don't know if you've seen that one as well.
In the Quran?
Yeah. There's a variation between the Quran where it speaks of it's one poor person or many poor people. It's supposed to do with the fasting and missing out on fast. And one says one person, so there's a group that will in a certain place that will follow the one person one, but they could be wrong because there's another one that says many people.
That's not Quran.
That is Quran. There is a variation.
That's hadith.
No, there's a variation.
Pull it up.
Once says they lied, and once says they were accused of lying.
No, that one's another one. But I'm saying obviously
That's another.
some people argue that it's to do with legislation.
Yes.
He's about to pull it up
There's
for you.
that to do with legislation, which shows that there is a variance between the two.
So ultimately we came all the way because that whole left bit went round for so long. But now I just want to know if we're clear on this, that it doesn't matter what Quran, Arabic Quran, that I've got around the world, all of them resemble.
The consensus is the same.
They all resemble what is in heaven.
The idea, yes.
They all resemble.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I'm not even because, like you said, it's an uncreated speech that's on there. So it's God's speech. So they couldn't resemble it word for word because it's not actually Arabic that's on there. It would be the speech of like God or angels or whatever on there. So cool. So now I've got an issue with the uncreated nature of this tablet.
Uncreated nature of the tablet. Okay.
Yeah. Because if the tablet's uncreated, but it's not Allah,
Yeah.
but it was caused by Allah, how is that different from Christian incarnation of Christ?
2184, yeah? Is that what you
We were
want?
waiting for you, yeah.
All right.
What is it?
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah. Mind out the way for its camera.
183.
2184.
If you have
that's
an
183.
uncreated tablet,
Yeah. We'll get back to that because he's found the verse of that Johnny was bringing up.
okay.
Yeah, he's found the verse Johnny brought up.
Oh wait, it depends which, because they have different verse numberings. Because not all the Qurans are the same, but yeah.
different verse numbers.
Yeah.
Is the Bismillah a verse? The Qurans don't agree. So it's 183 in some Qurans, it's 184 in some other Qurans.
So verses are missing. I told you.
Well, like some of them hold the
183 in some
Bismillah
Qurans.
as a verse,
Yeah.
and some of them
And
don't have the
is the
Bismillah as a
Bismillah a
verse. So if the Bismillah is not a verse, then
No.
Well, then it'll be 183. But you're reading Hafs, right?
So it's like now people are confused.
Because this says Hafs and Warsh.
It's kitab, yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter. That's the point.
The argument comes from when you said book.
Oshin's pulled up the verse to show that it's Quran and not Hadith. Yeah, no, I know.
That's why you said he has everything. Was I him?
It goes to mosque.
I was about to say. I was about to say, because my friend here is a kafir. Because he's a kafir, that's why he knows all the bits. You got Jumma on Friday, innit?
What?
You got Jumma on Friday, innit?
Abba?
Come on Friday, it's literally on Sunday.
He's a kafir.
When did you step back so you can see him as well?
Take a step forward.
But I was on the team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Stop telling me what to do, woman.
Please.
I'm joking.
So if you want it in English, you get the bridges. It shows you the different qira'ats, the differences. This one says person, which is the Hafs, and then in the comment, the Warsh one reads it as people.
They use the word nefel, yeah?
Food for destitute people. Like, do you read Arabic?
I read it in transliteration. 1 second.
Now recently, living my best life.
Hey Jay, what was the point he was making? What was the point he was making?
When I was making this, that's legislation. So it's something that Allah told them to do in certain situations.
Yeah.
So which one is it?
Because legislation can't have interpretation. Legislation is either one way or the other way.
84, yeah?
So if there's a textual variant on interpretation,
Unless you don't
then
have
one
the
of those
Bismillah,
has to be unequivocally wrong. So it has to be unequivocally
Yeah, it's
wrong,
the same one.
especially if this is the speech of God. There can't be an interpretation on legislation.
No, because you're reading the Hafs. That one's from the Warsh. This one's the Warsh.
Have nef.
No? Well then, the Hafs is different from the Warsh.
Checking a textual variant in the Hafs and the Warsh. 2183 or 84.
Do you have exactly that? Because that's the Warsh.
To 184.
Yeah, 184 or 183, depending on whether or not it takes the Bismillah as. But it's a verse on legislation about feeding poor people.
Limit numbers here and during them.
They're all the same.
Number of days are made up from the
But I think Bridges is even a Muslim source anyway.
putting a poor person.
Go back to
When you guys are finished with your nerd stuff,
maybe
let
we
me
should
know.
move
I
on.
have the same.
If you
It's
look it up,
miskinun. It's not even that word.
all right. So you don't read the Arabic. The guys who do say it's different. They pronounce it differently. They say it's different. The scholars even say, yeah, there's different words. Your Bridges scholars say, yeah. Some of them say people.
You could read it yourself. It says miskin.
All right. And you read the different Warsh and the Hafs.
But you can read that. That says miskin.
Yeah, I can read what your Hafs transliteration says.
Yeah. So the word it's saying is nasr. Yeah, when you clicked it, look, go on that thing that you clicked. Nafi.
Yeah.
There's no word nafi.
That's the point.
That's the
There
whole
is
point.
in the Warsh.
That's
there
the
is in
whole
Hafs.
point, bro. The
Nafi
whole,
doesn't even mean miskin or person.
All right.
but the whole point
The
is that
Hafs doesn't have it, the Warsh does have
there's a word that's not there, and the fact that the word's not there, this is related to legislation.
What Quran
So-
do you use?
Well, these are Warsh. You got Hafs there.
How do you know this house? This is wash.
Because Hafs is a standard for everybody.
I can get another Quran if you want.
Show me the word.
I don't know exactly which one it is.
Just realised place. What the difference?
Can we go back to the uncreated nature of the Quran, or you finished?
We can
We
stay on
can,
this
but-
for one more second. Yeah.
I know you've been there for a while now.
Like, if we want to say which Quran is on the tablets, would it be the one that Abdullah bin Masud recites?
I don't know if that is.
Oh, which one was
Abdullah
the?
bin Masud is the number one guy.
Well, which
Muhammad
one
says
was
you
the
know
one
the
that was
Quran.
recited by Jibril? We've gone past the tablet, but we've gone past the tablet, and now we're at which one was recited by Jibril
Yeah, 'cause
to the
if you look
Prophet.
at Bukhari 4944, we have Abdullah bin Masud, Muhammad's #1 Quran guy. He says
Yeah.
if you learn the Quran from anybody, learn it from Abdullah bin Masud.
Yeah.
He recites the Quran, he recites this verse one way. It doesn't appear in any of your modern day Qurans.
What he recites.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he recites.
Doesn't appear in any of the modern day Qurans.
The modern Qurans are all slightly different.
What's the surah that he recites is different?
Oh, you got the hadith, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Al-Layl. The night. Al-Layl. I was going to say by the male and the female. You're going to have different versions, and none of them match Abdullah bin Masud's version.
So it says, and the male. Which part is different?
The part that quotes bin Masud.
I understand, but you're showing
This
me
is
loads
this
of
is going to be
Arabic.
some
Which
horrible
part do you
footage.
know?
The part that quotes bin Masud.
Just checking it there. Second,
And by him who created male and female.
Creating male.
oh, God is goalkeeper.
You have there, and it's all the different qira'ats.
He's going to save you.
There's a variation. Just look up Bukhari 4944. Like, if you don't read Arabic, that's fine. Just study it later on. So anyway, you want to
Yeah.
move on to the novel. So we're spending a lot on this, but if you don't read it, you're not going to know by looking at it.
Especially if you can't read Arabic.
Say that to a Muslim.
It is what it is.
There's a difference between reading Arabic and reading Arabic. I can
that's my
read it
point,
enough
like-
to understand. But then
But my
if
point
I
is,
say to you, I read Arabic, you're going to say, read this word for word and recite it like that.
I'm not saying that. That's what I'm
No,
saying.
I was about to say,
Look
no,
at it
irony
tonight.
is that
That's what I'm saying. Go look it up. These are the
you don't read
references.
Arabic.
But we just get told all the time we don't read Arabic, so we should stop. Oh, the light. Yeah, the light. These men control everything.
Okay, give me the website if you guys don't want to.
Bukhari 4944.
Sunnah.com.
Any. Just look up, just Google it, and then it'll be in your history.
Yeah. Sunnah.com, bro. No Christian sources around here.
Yeah, we only use Sahih Hadith from Muslim sources.
Only.
Right, but I think we spent enough time. Oh, we've covered everything we can on this, so
Yeah.
We didn't, but it's fine.
for now at least.
Oh, yeah. Ultimately, I was just asking you metaphysically, how can there be two uncreated things that are non-identical, that are not sharing in ontology? Does the Quran derive its ontology from Allah?
Does the Quran derive?
Uncreated Quran, yeah. Does it derive its ontology from Allah?
It is part of him.
It's part of it. So is Allah composite?
No.
So how is the Quran part of him then? What do you mean? You said it's part of him.
The thing is, look, Islamically, I don't have to do a backflip to understand Allah. If I want to take him, right, as he is this, yeah? And this is not my opinion, but I'm giving you the Islamic opinion, yeah? If a Muslim wants to believe that God literally has two right hands,
Yeah.
he can believe that,
I know.
yeah?
I'm well aware.
And the explanation for how that's possible is not necessary
Allahu Alam.
because Allahu Alam and there is nothing like unto him, right? So even those hands are nothing like me and you can even understand.
See, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that.
Why?
Because you can't. Because how is it then a hand? How do we then know? How do we even know what handness is?
What hand is?
What handness is? How do we even know what handness
That's the
is?
point. The point is you can't create, in your mind, you can't create another hand apart from the one you have.
No, I can, because
You
I could
cannot
create.
create a hand.
I could conceive his hand. I could
Can't
conceive
create
his
a
hand. I
without
could conceive
without
your hand.
without a palm and without digits.
No, but
you cannot do that.
I could conceive of all kinds of hands because I watch a lot of science fiction. So I could conceive of
Listen
all
to what I
kinds of
said.
hands.
Listen to what I said.
Yeah.
You cannot create a hand in your mind without a palm and digits.
Well, I can because I watch a lot of science fiction, so I could conceive of all kinds of limbs and digits and call them hands.
Give me
We
a
use the
hand.
word hand to refer to other things, like the
Yeah.
hand on the clock, because they
Yeah.
point to the time, right?
Yeah.
Or the face of a clock, even.
People call the tentacles of an octopus hands
Yeah, like-
because
So
they
they're
grab
called
things. No, but they could call them hands colloquially because they
hand.
function
I mean, if you
like
wanna use that vernacular.
because you can say a bird's claws are like hands when it picks up stuff. Like
It wouldn't be.
When we say a clock has hands, I'm not saying it's made of flesh.
no,
or
but
it's-
that means I can then conceive of a hand. But then
the
that
hand
means
on
I
the
can
The
then.
point is, the hand on the clock is in some way similar to the hands of a person, right?
Let me give you a
Alright.
chance, yeah? The hands on a clock is the best example you've given
It's
so
in
far.
some way similar.
Everything else, you've
No,
tried to
no.
attribute-
What I'm doing, no.
Everything
It
else
wasn't.
you've tried
No,
to
what I was
attribute
doing, what I
hands
was,
to
no.
something that already has a name.
But what I'm doing
The
is,
clock, the
what I'm
hands on the
doing.
clock
So
is
run
the
with it,
best.
run with it then.
Yeah.
I can run with
Okay,
that,
run with
but
it.
everything else is not.
So why do we use the word hand to describe something on a clock? It's not made of flesh. It doesn't belong to a person, right?
Sure.
Not physically. It doesn't have different fingers. It doesn't have nails.
Now, can
It is
you-
in some way similar to our hand.
Yeah.
In so that
It
so much
points
that it does
at
the
something.
pointing, right? It points
now,
at the time.
now does
So
it have a left and a right?
it doesn't have to. It's in some way similar to our hand.
But
so
okay, but
when
God,
we talk about God
but God
having
has
hands,
two right hands.
All right, so
if
it-
we say
so
they're
when we
the
say-
same as the hands on a clock, right? How can we have two right of those?
no one's saying that. We're saying
Yeah, no one's saying
for
that.
us to call it a hand that God has, it has to be in
There's a
some way
similarity.
similar
Yeah.
to our hand.
Yeah.
Otherwise, using that
Physically
word,
or-
making that comparison is
any
entirely
sense.
meaningless.
Yeah, in any
right?
sense. Yeah, in any sense,
In
it's
any
meaningless.
sense, any sense. Otherwise, saying God has a hand is just completely meaningless.
Yeah, it's just a nonsensical
But
statement.
then, so you guys can accept that God has two right hands.
Right, but you said that
That they're nothing like anything that we could conceive, and that's the part we have an issue with.
But you can't conceive two right hands.
Bro,
That are nothing like your hands.
have you watched Mortal Kombat
This is
before?
what I'm
Because
trying to
Goro's
explain
got
to
two
you.
right hands, so
we
I could
draw
conceive
something
of
on
two
your
right.
hands?
I could conceive of two right hands because Goro has two right hands in Mortal Kombat, and his hands are not like my hands because he only has two digits on his hand. I'm just showing you that I could conceive of him.
No, because you've conceived of something that is unlike your hand,
Yeah.
right? Fine. And I accepted his premise on the clock. Now, you have to add having two right of those.
Goro has two right hands. I keep
No,
saying this.
That, they're
Mortal
your
Kombat.
hands he had.
No, he doesn't. He's got two fingers. He doesn't.
No, you
Like,
don't
like we
understand.
can look
You
at
understand
certain
what
Hindu
I'm
gods
saying?
as well.
You're not really making a point.
Yep, Shiva.
You're saying you cannot possibly conceive of what a second right hand would look like.
Well, yeah, because of what even a first right hand
If a
would
man
do.
with two right hands.
No. Because
Two right hands.
I'm
Nearly knocked him out.
I'm explaining that it can't be your hands. It's got to be hands that are not like yours.
So
Now, you
Goro's
gave-
hands are not
some
like
way-
mine. Let me get a
some
picture of
way-
Goro.
I explained to you
that's
something
not
without
the
palm and digits. I explained
Okay,
it.
but
And then hold on,
you
and
didn't
then he
let
gave
me
the
you didn't
example
let
of
me
the
land
clock.
and you didn't let
And
me
I
land
said, okay,
before as
that's a
well.
good example. Now give me two right-handed versions of those. And he can't because they don't have a left and a right. Therefore, you cannot conceive something
But if
like
those
that.
two hands were just sticking out the right hand side of something, then they're both right hands now.
But when did anybody say to you that God has a right hand and a left hand side?
What are you talking about?
that's not what the argument
That's
is.
nothing to do with anything. You've jumped somewhere
Even
else.
if Allah said he has a right and a
Because
left.
if he said he's got two right hands, then that
Yeah.
means he's got a right side. Otherwise, if he doesn't have a right side, then he doesn't have right hands.
So you believe?
Like, it's a
when it
logical
says-
impossibility.
When it says that God has two right hands, they're both on the right side.
But we want to know what it's supposed to mean.
Is that what you
So
believe?
no, well, you tell me, bro. I don't
I'm
believe none
asking
of this
you-
because I'm not a Muslim.
Well, yeah, 'cause
so
I'm
does he
trying
have
to
a
explain to
right
you-
hand coming out his left
That's
side
my
as
point.
well?
I'm explaining to you that you cannot conceive it, and you're trying to conceive it by trying to make it a human thing.
No, but you're
by
not-
saying having two hands on
But
the right
words
side
were
makes
used.
it-
Allah
makes
used
it
words
two
to describe
right
that.
hands.
Yes? Allah used words to describe that. Does it have any meaning or not?
It has some meaning, absolutely.
So what is the
Okay.
meaning?
What if there is a meaning
Yes.
that's something that's understandable to the mind, then in some way it is similar in a way that the mind can conceive and think about
it
it.
was put in a way that meaning, can be translated to you. Your mind can digest what is
Right.
actually being given to it.
So there's a similarity.
It, it's not necessarily a similarity. He's drawing a
Goro,
comparison.
2 right hands.
But it doesn't mean that he's saying that's what he is.
Maybe.
That's fine. But in order to talk about a thing,
No,
there needs to be
that's
a
Goro
similarity.
from Mortal Kombat. Don't worry.
In
But
order
it's a conceptualization of 2 right
communicate
hands.
an idea, even there needs to be a similarity. That's how semantics work.
You like your games?
We're not saying that he has palms and digits. You can even think about the concept of grasping. But if it's even the concept of grasping or holding, there is a similarity.
Or pointing.
Which means that there is, you can't univocally or absolutely say Allah is unlike anything.
I can, because he says that.
But then that would be an internal contradiction.
Yeah.
Why?
You've
Because I
broken
just
the law
said,
of non-contradiction.
if Allah communicated something, there is a similarity.
You've broken the law of non-contradiction.
He's communicated in your language.
Yes.
In your version. of
Fallible,
communication.
tiny little ant brain.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right? Communication is not only language, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not only.
Sure, you can do it
speech.
by body language.
You can do it by just looking at somebody, body language, scent, smoke signals,
Yeah.
so many different ways, right?
Interpretive dance.
Exactly. So
Damn, that was on camera.
So now
I know, bro. I know. I'm out
something
here.
is communicated to you,
Yeah.
right?
Have a
It
good
has to
time.
be communicated to you for it to be fair and just. It has to be communicated to you in a way that you can process that information.
Exactly.
Now, whether he is exactly that thing,
Yeah. No one's saying exactly.
Yeah, no one said that.
fine.
In some way similar.
Can I process it in any sense?
So he is trying to put it in a way that you can process it.
So you're saying we
Absolutely.
can only process it in the sense that it's axiomatic, in the sense that it's just a description of something.
Yeah. Basically.
But
So,
is
but
it
then there's
described?
something that it is describing.
Yeah.
And whatever it is describing is a real thing.
And by
In which
choosing
sense he's
to-
not completely other to creation.
Not only that, but by choosing to use a word that's already applied to something in creation and then reapplying it here, the message being taught is that in some way it has something that is similar. Otherwise, you have to just come up with
Because
new words
because
to
otherwise
describe, yeah.
handness just doesn't exist no more. Handness just ceases to be a concept. Handness.
However you want to describe that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it would cease to exist. So he's got to put it in a humanistic form.
Right. So that means there is a similarity in which God
No,
is.
he for him to understand a human, he doesn't have to be a human. Right?
No, we're not saying that. We're not saying that.
So
For
him,
me to understand.
for him to put a concept in a human form,
Yeah.
it does not mean that he has to be in human form.
Not
No.
in
We're not
every
even
sense,
saying
not
that he has
in
to
every
be-
sense,
yeah.
but it has to be in
A
some
clock's
sense.
hand is not in
in,
human
no,
form.
in any sense, he does not have to be
No,
in human
but
form.
it has to
in
be.
any
It
sense.
has
then
to be
my
intelligible to
understanding
the
of that
people.
text-
Personification. If you personify a book, that book does not become human.
Sure, but
It doesn't become a
but the
person.
act of personifying conveys a meaning, whatever that meaning is. That's why we personify things.
Yeah, so you can personify a clock and start talking about its hands and how it is and all of this.
Right.
And in your mind, you might visualize a person, but in reality, it's nothing like what you are imagining.
Right, but it's conveying a meaning.
it's conveying a meaning. Yes.
Right. In order for meaning to be conveyed from one thing to another, and for it to be relevant, there has to be a similarity. That's
Like-
how you and I can talk right now.
Like if I'm saying my computer is acting stupid, my computer's not acting stupid. It's just not working the way I want
not
it to
being-
work.
yeah,
it's
it's
not
not being
obeying the commands.
not
Yeah,
being-
So that means there has to be some level of where we can actually understand the personification. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. There's no point in it ever even making these comparisons or references.
Okay.
Then words have no meaning.
Likeness and conceptualization is not the same thing, right?
Yeah, sure.
So, in that personification of explaining his attributes and himself and what he is, he doesn't have to be like that thing.
Yeah.
That thing only needs to be able to explain his attributes and his essence. It doesn't have to be a likeness onto it.
Not a one-to-one likeness.
It doesn't have to be a likeness at all.
Right, but how does
But
it
then
explain?
what is so?
Yeah, it loses
the
all
text
explanatory
says,
power.
I don't know.
Look, for example, justice to you and justice to God is not the same justice.
Is it similar in any way?
Knowledge to you,
But is it?
and knowledge
But
to
is,
God.
but are
It's
those,
the same.
are those
Is it
things similar in
to
any way? Because
In
if,
terms of being able to have it, maybe.
because they have to be similar in some way, because otherwise God can't give us
Well,
rules for justice.
One comes of
God,
one comes of the other. Yes.
Yes, there's a similarity then.
So
A
that means there's
derived
similarity.
similarity.
Because it's similarity of derivation,
Right.
but it's a similarity.
So then God is not completely other. He is not completely unlike anything in creation.
Man like Corey, you know.
I'm trying to find a good example for you.
Hey, Johnny,
If you have a simplified version of something,
Yeah.
anything,
But simplified. That means it's derived as
That means,
simplicity from a
this is
complexity.
my words. Now,
Okay.
yeah? If you have a simplified version of something, you can't from there expand on it to a point where you have the complicated version,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
You would have to at some point be able to see the complicated version to actually understand how it came down to that simple version.
Not necessarily.
well,
but that's not what we're trying to do.
I was about to say, I can rock with that, in the sense that a guy who drives a chariot would never understand what a Ford Mustang looks like. But at the same time, that doesn't mean there's no similarity between a
can
chariot
still
and a
use the
Ford
word
Mustang.
drive.
They're still both driving.
Still use the word
Yeah,
drive,
they're
yes.
still
Yes.
both driving.
Yeah.
You still drive a
And
chariot
it's
and a Ford
meaningful
Mustang.
communication
Yeah.
because there is a similarity in
Yeah.
some sense.
In the sense that they're both on wheels, they both take people forward, and they both move by horsepower. One is engine-powered horsepower, the other one's literal horses, but they both move by horsepower, they're both on wheels, and they both are modes of transportation.
But you see that the likeness of them, of the two.
Yeah,
is
no,
not
no,
the same
no,
either.
totally,
Yeah,
totally,
that's
totally.
very likeness
But they
in some
have
way.
likeness in some way.
So what we're saying, in order for the Quran to not have a contradiction in that, you need to give on one of those.
Yeah,
Either the literal sense of God having a hand or whatever, or the idea that when Allah says that He's unlike anything, He doesn't mean literally anything
yeah.
and completely devoid.
yeah.
There's
does-
at least communication of language.
Yeah, he doesn't mean
Muhammad
he's
understood
completely
with his
other.
mind something.
Yeah, it doesn't mean he's completely other to the point that we couldn't conceive of absolutely
Well,
anything
he
relating to
understands.
him.
He understands the thing that he's created.
Yeah, no, we're not talking about his understanding. Remember, he can be utterly infinite.
Yeah,
But
it's-
if he conveyed anything
he's
to
able
us,
to create. He's able to create things
Yeah.
that can be conveyed to us. That can be
Exactly,
understood by
yes.
us.
Yes.
But what is
Right.
being conveyed to us?
But
Because
his likeness is not one of them.
yeah,
Right,
that's
but-
fine. But it's some similarity though. So if he says that he is just,
Sure.
we need to
can understand
understand
the
in
level of
some.
justice.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
won't
yeah.
say that we can encompass his justice.
yeah, no way, no way, no
We can
way.
say his
Understand his
justice is
attribute.
yeah, right. But we
Yeah.
can understand some. So there is some connection between Allah and what He has created,
Yeah,
naming acts of justice.
The thing is, with my understanding, I could potentially say yes. But with your understanding, you might not be able to, because some people will call two things democracy, right? And then when you take one from one place and put him in the other democracy, he'll say, this is not democracy. This is nothing I recognize, right?
So that's
So if you understand democracy in a whole, yes, you can say that okay, one is like the other,
Yeah.
right? Where you can be in one and then go to the other and say, okay, they are both democracies but different, right?
yeah.
But if you're in a position where you don't even understand the main vernacular, then you can't go too into the theology of it, of understanding exactly what the likeness is and what it is. Because you can say, oh, well, because we have an aspect of justice, we can understand the justice of God.
No,
Well,
no,
you can't.
exactly.
Right?
We agree with that.
You can understand that there is a justice
Yeah.
that God has,
Yeah.
but you can't understand a thing of it. When you see it, you might not recognize that as justice. You might call it
Right,
something
but we
else.
can't understand a thing of it. That's
yeah.
the difference. We would say.
Because
So-
our sense of
That's
justice
what I'm
is
saying. If
derived from
somebody
paradigm.
didn't tell you that was justice, you might not recognize it as justice. That's
Yes,
what
so-
it's meant.
so
that,
for
that
example-
it's unrecognizable to you.
Right.
Yeah, it's nothing like what you can put onto it.
it's
right?
different in some ways. It's
In
like,
every way. Where if you
No,
see
no,
it,
It can't be
See,
different in
that's-
every way.
if you see it,
you're not
you
really
wouldn't know
addressing
what
the
it is.
issues we have.
We understand.
Yeah, 'cause if
That-
it's
that's just
different,
a
if it's-
failing in cognition.
Yeah,
The
and
point
if it's
is,
different in
if
every
the
way,
Quran
then it's
says
not
that God has
justice.
hands, that sentence has some meaning, correct? It's not just complete nonsense, because God wouldn't be speaking complete nonsense.
What?
Would God be speaking complete nonsense?
No.
So when He says He has hands,
Yes.
that has meaning.
It has meaning,
Right.
absolutely.
And by invoking the word hand, right, that word hand has to have some explanatory power in saying what God has.
Yes.
And by using a word which already exists to
Okay,
describe
but
something
it's
in
like-
creation.
it's like if the
Brother,
Bible
please,
said-
one second, please. By using a word which already exists to describe things in creation, it's making a comparison. It's telling us that in some way, not in every way, in some way at least, God's hands are similar to human hands. Like when we say the clock hands, in some way it's similar. Because if it wasn't similar in any way,
You
it
could
would be-
replace those
yeah,
words with literally
It would be
anything.
completely nonsensical.
You could
to
say
a clock has hands.
understand
You could say God has
humanity.
2 legs or God has 2
Because
wings.
you only understand humanity. We don't. We don't believe in only humanity, right?
We don't
So-
believe in only humanity.
What do you believe in?
We believe in God, we believe in angels,
Angels.
we believe in demons.
Okay.
We
Right.
believe clocks have hands.
And
Yeah.
before humans?
What do you mean by before humans?
Oh, they have the
Anything
water
before
people.
humans?
Oh.
Do you believe in other creations?
Well, potentially. Like
the same time as you?
Christianity
Somewhere
doesn't.
else?
Christianity doesn't completely rule out the
Anyway,
possibility
I
for
don't wanna
aliens.
We can
too far.
conceive
Yeah,
of it
let's
because
go
they would be
too far,
similar
yeah?
to us in some way.
But,
Yeah.
but what I'm trying to
Right?
explain
If
is
God
you
made,
can only...
if God had aliens on Mars and they were made in this
just
image and
one second,
likeness,
because
they
you
are
go
in
too
some
far.
way similar to us.
The
Yeah.
only thing that you can understand are the things that you have perceived. The only ideas of a hand that you
No.
can have are the ideas of a hand that you have perceived. Are only the things that have been in this creation. That is the only version
Okay.
of a hand
So-
that you
so-
can
so is that
Then
the same
Allah's
for you?
talking about a
Would that be the
concept
same
of
for you?
It'd be the
hands.
same for all humanity.
But then why would he reveal, what is the point of that text?
It doesn't mean that it's wrong. Right?
No, no, it didn't
The
ask- it
moment-
didn't say it's wrong, it
the
asked
moment-
what the point
I know
of
you're
it
not
was.
saying it's not wrong. I'm saying the moment another hand is presented to you and you recognize that thing as another hand and it's nothing like your hand,
But you just said another. By saying another, you're putting
There's
it
a
in
similarity.
the same category. In the
I
same
can, otherwise I can
genus
change the
or
word.
species, right?
Yeah.
that's what I'm trying to explain to you. If you are now presented with a different idea of a hand entirely that has never been in creation.
Right, but
Yeah?
you're saying another.
Okay, when you were talking,
Yeah.
I didn't
All
cut
right,
you off.
fair enough.
Yeah? Is that
Please-
fair?
please
All
go
right.
on.
If you were presented a different hand that was never in creation, that has never been perceived by humanity, that was never seen, yeah? And you guys identify this thing as a hand, at that point it becomes a hand. The same thing as the clock. The moment humanity decided that that thing, that pointer, was called a hand, that thing was identified as a hand. Agreed?
Okay.
Okay, so the moment something is put into creation that could be a hand that we have never perceived before and we identify this thing as a hand, it is now a hand, right? So the same thing can happen in the metaphysical when we see the metaphysical and we see this thing and we identify it as a hand and recognize it as a hand, even though it has nothing like onto creation.
Even though it
But
has
then
no
that means
handles.
I can replace the word hand with literally anything.
No.
Yeah,
I can
you
say
could say.
goo goo gaga.
Yeah, you could say tail.
say
You could say
Why
tail.
not? Because until I see the goo goo gaga, it's
It's
not
got to be recognizable.
exactly.
That's what we were saying.
That's
That's what we've been
exactly-
saying. That's what we've been saying the whole time.
There's a
No, because
similarity.
That's been our point the
A
whole
hand
time.
on a clock is not similar to your hand.
It
It
is.
is. It points.
Yeah.
Why else would
There
you
is
call it a
some.
hand?
That's
Right,
the
so
only
it's similar in some
similarity.
way.
It's
We're
still
not saying there's
it
no
doesn't-
I'm not saying it's
similarity.
similar in every way.
We're saying
Yeah, yeah,
similarity
yeah.
in some
Yep,
conceivable
yep,
way.
yep, 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 yep,
So
yep.
what I'm explaining to you is that every type of conception that you believe you have on this planet
Of a hand.
of a hand,
Okay.
it's nothing like those conceptions
In any sense.
in any sense.
So why do we use the
Okay.
word another? Like, am I a
So
person?
Allah could have replaced the word hand with goo goo gaga, and it would have conveyed the same thing because we don't know what it is.
Well, Allah could have probably given it its exact name, and you wouldn't have known what it is.
Right, but the
Right?
so
Because
the
that's
question
why
is
in the
why
Quran-
was the word
that's
hand
why,
used?
That's
then?
why in the Quran there are things that are put in there like Alif Lam Mim. You give me the answer of what does Alif Lam Mim mean.
The Quran says it's
Nobody
clear.
knows,
Yeah.
right?
But the
There are
Quran
some
says it's
things-
clear though, right?
Well, no,
The
it's
Quran
clear.
claims to be clear. So
clear.
why do you have things in there that you don't know what it
is
means?
clear. It's clear that there are some things in the Quran that only God knows. That
Oh, so that's
only
what's
God.
clear. That's what's clear. Okay.
Am I a human?
Yes.
Is he another human?
Yes.
By using the word another, am I saying that me and him are in some way alike? We're of the same category of whatever that category might be.
Ain't nothing like you,
In
man.
whatever sense we may be alike.
So you're human.
Right.
Do you look the same?
We are of that same species in
Do you
that
look
way.
the same?
We look very much.
We
so
have
the
some-
same.
You
sound the
Nice
same?
beard.
In
Got
some way
shades,
we do, in some
bearded.
ways we don't. So I am a human, he is another human.
Right.
We belong to a
better looking
category
human.
of which we are both the same. There is similarity.
Yeah.
So when you say humans have a type of hand and God has another type of hand, you're saying all these hands are of one
I
category,
didn't say
of
another.
one speech. You said another many times to describe God's hand. You said we can only conceive of our type of hand, not another type of hand,
I
which
said we
is
can't
his.
conceive of another type of hand. I didn't say that other type of hand that I'm talking about is his.
So God just has a hand.
Okay, but
is
did
another
I-
type of hand to
Okay,
our
but
hand.
do we agree with that? That you are
We
the
can
one that
we can
are
conceive of
attaching.
we can conceive of another type of hand.
Can we agree that you are the one that's making that attachment and not me?
I feel like you were saying that, but sure. But for the sake of argument, I can say I'm wrong.
And we can conceive of another type of hand. That's what science fiction writers do all the time.
But they don't, because
They
they
do.
all look similar to what we have.
No, they don't, because
God-
some
God
people
doesn't
have
look similar.
Okay, if
some
I-
people
if I-
have tentacles and they're
If I
called
ask you,
hands.
if I ask you to create something
Yeah.
that doesn't exist on this planet,
Yeah.
could you do it?
I don't know, maybe. I don't know, maybe.
There's nothing like anything on this planet.
Nothing like anything on this
Nothing like
planet.
anything
Well,
on
as a
this
point, no, I have no point of reference.
Right?
I have no point of reference.
So we say
But I
that
can still
God is
conceive
like
of
that.
that.
So-
You can't do that.
But
Yeah.
he used the word hand, so there's a point of
Use the word
reference.
hand.
But yeah, he's made a point
So
of
that you
reference.
understand that there is a reach and that there is a grasp
Right.
and there is
Exactly.
So that means
So
there's
there's
similarity.
similarity.
But even that, it could be in a metaphorical sense.
That's still similarity.
Yeah.
Well,
So in the Christian
action.
paradigm, we have three concepts. A word can be used univocally, which means it's exactly the same.
well, it's like you guys said. Sorry, I'm cutting you. But you guys used the term driving for the chariot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Driving is not the only thing that you can do in a vehicle, right? You
No.
can drive a word, you can drive a thought, you can drive so many things. A screw, you can
Yeah.
drive many things,
Yeah.
right? So even when we talk about drivability, something could, it could be saying, oh, it's drivable, and we automatically think, oh, driving a car. Do you know
No,
what I mean?
but what driving does describe is the act of motion,
The act of moving
of
forward.
something
Right.
in motion. So that
Which
means
is a common
all of them have a
denominator.
common similarity, no matter how you use the word drive.
Right. And then even when you then go into the motion, right? And remember, you're in the metaphysical.
Yep.
Yeah. Even that motion doesn't necessarily have to be a physical motion.
No.
Right. So when you start to break it down, yes, the words at the very beginning were something that you could grasp. But the more you go into it, word for word, and what it means and what it is, you lose sight of the picture.
But we'd say it's impossible to lose sight of it completely, otherwise the text itself is meaningless.
Yeah. Words stop having meaning then.
Because then there was no point in communicating that. I can literally replace it with goo goo gaga and it would change nothing. Because the meaning conveyed by hands can be the same as conveying goo goo gaga. Because that meaning is unknowable either way.
No, that's not true. That's not true because the meaning of the entire thing, of the entire verse, for example, could rely on just that, and then I would agree with you, right?
But the whole thing was given by Allah, and the whole thing has meaning, which means the whole thing in some way is similar to Allah in some way. You can say metaphorical, you can say like in the same way that a hand can like grasp.
Okay, but if you
Allah
take-
doesn't have
if
materiality,
you
but
take
still.
if you take everything about Allah's physical out of the Quran,
Yeah.
it doesn't lose its meaning.
Right, but I'm saying there is meaning that can be understood. If there is any meaning that can be understood, then Allah, who conveyed the meaning, is in some way like the thing perceiving that meaning.
Yes.
Because that's the only way communication works.
Yeah, but he's not putting that meaning so that you can perceive him. He's putting that meaning so that you can perceive the idea in the Quran, so that you can perceive the message.
What if the idea in the Quran is about him?
In what sense?
Like I have two
Two
right
hands.
hands.
I have two right hands,
I'm
literally.
talking about me.
That's what he says. He says he's the creator.
Well, if I'm saying I have two right hands, I'm talking about me. So whatever I'm trying to convey, it's about me. You're saying, what if it's not about him? I mean,
And if you understood anything about it, you understood a bit of him.
Yeah.
I'm saying if you didn't understand what I was saying, if you took away every part of God, every description of God out of the Quran, the message would still be in, right? The message would still be there, right? Right? The Quran wouldn't lose its meaning, right? So the meaning to you does not change.
can we ask what this meaning is? Like, is there any meaning whatsoever conveyed by the use of the word hand?
In what sense?
In any sense
Any sense at all.
whatsoever.
Descriptive sense, yeah.
Of something.
So
It's describing something.
Is it describing Allah? In any sense?
In any sense.
Because he said he has a view. Any sense.
Attribute, maybe.
Attribute.
Sure. Can people understand that Allah communicated that to them? Use the words.
Attribution, potentially.
Right, so then there is a similarity.
Yeah.
You can say it's a very thin similarity, but nonetheless there's a
It
similarity.
can be an attribution, fine.
Right, so then that negates the statement of saying absolutely that Allah is unlike creation.
Yeah.
No, an attribution, something you attribute to something else, doesn't make likeness.
It does in some way. In order for me to understand what is being attributed, I need to understand. In the same way, justice. If Allah says that He is all just, I don't know. Does He say that? Give me. He is all merciful, the most merciful. Sorry. We only understand what mercy means. We understand it to
Your
be.
mercy and my mercy is the same.
Pardon?
Is your mercy and my mercy the same?
If you use the word, I assume there's some common understanding of mercy.
Yeah.
You assume that there is a common
Right.
understanding.
Yeah.
But in practice, will it be the same?
There must be some similarity, or you can explain what you mean by mercy.
Or
I can understand what you mean
Or
by mercy,
otherwise, you're
and then
not
how I
actually
use it
using
will then be
the.
the same.
Otherwise, the word doesn't have any meaning. If there's no similarity, the word doesn't have any meaning. If there's no common understanding of what mercy is to a degree, your mercy might not have the same extent or range as His mercy, but there needs to be a common understanding. Otherwise, you're using two different words. Or you're
Otherwise,
using,
when Allah says He is most merciful, it means nothing. We
Yeah.
don't understand. We don't know if it's a good thing, a bad
yeah,
thing.
we don't, because then we don't actually know what
It
mercy is.
comparative in the sense that of every mercy that we can conceive exists, it is higher than that.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That what we can conceive exists. But there are other mercies outside of our realm of existence,
Sure.
and still outside of His realm of existence,
Sure.
that we can't conceive and that He can.
Yeah,
And He's still higher than
that's
those.
fine, but you've just admitted there is some similarity
Yeah.
between one mercy that we can conceive versus what He is.
If we say similarity, if we say that similarity is not likeness, fine.
Can you be greater than something if you have no similarities?
I just said, if we are saying that similarity is not likeness, I can agree
Okay, like,
with
I don't
similarity.
understand.
like,
They
for
seem like-
instance,
sound like
are
synonyms
you
to me.
greater
Yeah,
than
those
me
words
in
are synonyms.
height?
Likeness and similarity is not the same.
Can you
but-
explain?
but they
Are
are-
you,
how
are
they're
you
different?
greater than me in height?
One sec. Let him explain this first. How?
I don't know the definition off the top of my head.
No, that's cool. That's
No,
cool.
what
but
you mean.
Yeah.
You don't have to
I was
give me a
about to say.
formal
Yeah, I was about to say. We're not asking for definitions. It's not like earlier, bro. I don't want you to define the terms.
It's fine. Well, regardless, earlier is still there. Anyway. Similarity. I can't explain it. I can't explain it off the top of my head. But it's not the same. If it was the same, you wouldn't have the word similar and you wouldn't have the word likeness.
No, you can have words are synonymous. You can have synonymous
we have
words.
plenty, like we have the word great and the word big.
Big and great is not the same.
Massive
No,
and big
they
are
can
the
be
same.
synonymous.
Yeah, massive,
They can be
massive, massive and big are synonymous. Gigantic and massive are synonymous.
No, massive and gigantic are not synonymous. Gigantic is like giant. Massive is
Giants have a lot of mass.
more than giant.
And giants have a lot of mass, so
But
they're
massive
massive.
is-
A
massive
giant
is-
is massive
but
and
massive-
gigantic.
but massive is more.
Godzilla is both massive and gigantic.
In the
No,
same
I
way
wouldn't
you're
say it's
making that
massive.
distinction, we want to know the distinction
Like
you're
a
making
black hole
for
would be
likeness and
massive.
similarity.
So then, can we then make that distinction that you've just made between massive and gigantic, between likeness and similarity?
Look, if you said Godzilla is massive, and then I said no, massive is a black hole, does that mean that now Godzilla and a black hole are similar?
No, but
They
relatively,
both have size,
you know
yeah.
that we're speaking about its size.
Yeah, we
We know we're talking about size.
we're aware
So
that
there's a
there's
similarity.
size, and we're
There's
aware,
similarity,
we're
but not
aware,
a likeness.
but we're aware that there's a
That
lot
makes
of
sense.
mass.
What's
There's not a likeness. It's not the Godzilla is not like the black hole.
So you're saying there's a different ontology.
Yet to some degree, yeah.
Well, hang on, one
To
sec. Are you greater than me in height?
Am I greater than you in height?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. And we can only say that because there
Okay.
is some way to compare you. We both have height, right?
Am I bigger than you?
Yeah. Do you have height? Do I have height?
In what way?
Can we compare that? As in, we both have physical bodies that we have molecules, a certain number, arranged in a certain way.
Can I say
we
I'm
can
big-
both measure ourselves on a measuring
Can I say
stick.
I'm bigger than you and it be used in so many different ways and it be ambiguous.
Yeah, there's a
What's
semantic
about
range.
just anyway, like height. We just focus on height.
So this is what I mean by the terms of the words, right? If you just go by the first term and say, oh, this word is synonymous with that word, right?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying words are synonymous.
Because he could be older than me and I'd be saying I'm bigger than him.
But a semantic range to a word
So I
does
can
not
replace the
deny
word similar with
synonyms.
likeness
but
because
that's
the
not what I'm
argument is still
saying.
the same.
Yeah, so if you use the word likeness, then I can't agree with you. If
Right,
you
but
use the
that's
word
not what I'm
similar,
saying.
I can maybe potentially
Right,
agree
but
with
I'm not saying any of that. Like, you can say you are taller than me. Can you say you are taller than the number 2?
Can I say I'm taller than the number 2?
Yeah. No, because 2 doesn't have height to it, right?
No,
It does to some degree.
not
2
really.
has height.
It has meters after it.
Just the number 2, not 2 meters.
No,
That's
so
something else.
He didn't say
The
meters,
number
though. He
two
didn't say
itself.
2 meters. He just said the number 2.
No.
So you are not.
I'm trying to understand your argument.
You can't say you are greater than the number 2 in height
I can't
because
say I'm
the
greater
number
than
2
the number two.
doesn't have that similarity to you.
Yeah,
to where
it's
it has
irrational.
height. Well, it doesn't have that similarity.
It's irrational.
It would be irrational to say
Fine,
that.
yeah,
It would be irrational to say
So,
that.
So
if you're
I'm
hei-
speaking in rationality.
yeah, I know. So it's rational that you can say your height is greater than mine because height is something we share. We have that similar with us.
Height is something we all share.
You
It's
and
a
I
common
both have height.
It's a common denominator for all human
Yeah,
beings.
'cause it's rational
All right.
to us.
So if you're saying something is greater than another thing, they have some similarity.
There needs to be a
They
common.
have some, I
There
think,
needs to,
Okay, yes.
Do you understand that I'm saying I don't have a problem with the word similarity,
Alright.
I have a problem with the word likeness. Do you understand that?
Okay.
Okay, but like I
you
said,
are not
but,
a like
but,
number.
but we want
that
to
they don't have
define
height.
what the difference is
You are
between
like
likeness and
me and that we
similarity.
both have height.
Yeah, we want to define what the difference is between likeness and similarity.
because we can use it
Me and
interchangeably.
him are not alike. We are similar,
All right.
right?
Are we alike in the sense that we both have height?
And that you both have beards. And you're both wearing sunglasses.
The number 2 doesn't have a beard, doesn't have sunglasses.
I would
it doesn't have
agree.
height.
I would say we are similar in the sense
Okay,
that we have
well,
height.
we can just not use the word alike then if we're going to define it differently, right?
It makes a big difference.
You can only say A is greater than B
Shall I
if they are
just pull up the definition so that I
I
can...
just want to make the final point very quickly. You can only say something is greater than another thing in any sense if they have any similarity. So if God's mercy is greater than our mercy or any mercy that exists, then God's mercy is in some way similar to every other mercy. Otherwise, it cannot be greater than it. The same way
or the
you
word
cannot
mercy
be
means
greater
nothing.
in height or beard length or sunglass coolness.
Yeah. All the word mercy just means nothing.
Yeah.
It just means nothing ultimately.
Right, that's
When
what
we say God is merciful, that means nothing.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think I'll end it there.
Okay, similarity refers to things having characteristics or qualities in common without being identical. It describes a general resemblance. Likeness implies a stronger, tighter, and sometimes exact match in detail or appearance. Is that fair?
Cool, I can rock with that. But the words in our vernacular, we can use them interchangeably because the words are synonyms and have a semantic range. Right? That's
So
fair.
we can
though,
say
right?
they're not ontologically the same, but they're same in some sense.
Sure, we can't use that idea of in our vernacular when we are looking at the vernacular itself. When we are looking at the wording itself, when we are looking at the language itself, we cannot say, oh, but in our language or in our understanding. Do you know what I mean?
But the
Because
words
then
have
I
been,
can just apply that.
bro. The
and I
words
can
have
be
been
like,
like
forget all of
the
you.
words of the Quran have been given to humans
Yeah.
for us to understand it.
Yeah.
So there's no other way. What else can we do?
Yeah, but you still have to take time to understand what each word means.
Yeah.
You can't just you can take it at face value, but then you also have to study it and actually try to understand it deeper and go into it in its entirety.
Yeah.
You can't just look at it surface level and say this is how I take it.
No. I can accept that and respect that completely. But we weren't doing Quranic exegesis. We were simply talking on the ontology of Allah and how it relates to humanity.
Yeah, you're doing creed. That's what we were doing, to be honest. We were doing creed.
What's creed?
We were doing theology.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We were doing the.
We're doing theology, but we weren't doing exegesis though of the verse.
Yeah, that's what I mean by creed. We were doing our understanding of what God is, what godness is.
Well, not even what our understanding of it is, just more so how do we understand what God says about himself if he's entirely other? How can we even understand? How can anyone understand? If there's no likeness, then you can't understand anything God says.
Even in the Quran, is it Hadith? Adam was created in the likeness of God.
The Father is not like us. He had to have a son to enter creation, right? So his son is basically God, which is uncreated, but had to be created to also enter creation.
His
right?
body
had to be created.
Yeah,
but
the
divinity within him, you cannot understand. He had to create a likeness. He had to create a likeness to be able to create to enter creation.
We would say God's essence is
ununderstandable.
Is unknowable.
It's unknowable.
But God's energies are knowable.
Right.
Like because he condescends to us through those energies. Otherwise we wouldn't know what joy is, what love is, what wisdom is.
His attributes, we agree, his attributes are knowable.
But we don't just call these God's attributes though.
But so that's what we call it.
No. Even in like knowing God's attributes says something about his essence, but we can't make positive predicate. So we still say we can know something about God.
Because what we know is that what God is not.
Yes.
We can know what God is not.
So we agree. We can know that God is not human. He's not like anything on this planet. We do the same thing.
But we wouldn't say that we wouldn't say we know that he's not like absolutely anything because God must share ontologically with everything in order for there to even be some level of relatability back to him.
No, because God is not in you.
The image of God is in me, and I was created in God's image and likeness. So being created in God's image and likeness, there needs to be some kind of sameness.
Is the essence of God like you?
No.
So that's what we're saying. The attribution can be recognizable to humanity.
But recognizable nonetheless.
But still recognizable.
But the essence of God cannot be.
No, we still wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
We can recognize, for example,
you cannot know the essence of God.
We can by his revelation.
Yeah.
How? He revealed himself in his entirety.
Right, but what he reveals about himself is true.
Yeah.
We say it's truly true of God.
Yeah.
So his physical is truly God.
But what Christ? Are you talking about Jesus?
Yeah.
In the incarnation?
Yeah, he's truly God, 100%.
When he united with flesh.
Yeah, he's truly God.
But the essence within him, is it knowable?
Is it? Yes.
Makes it knowable.
Because we say God is love, for example.
Yeah, he makes it knowable for
Fully
what he
God
does.
part.
Yes. God.
Is that his hands?
Huh?
When he's fully God, does that encompass his hands and his legs?
Jesus' hands
stomach?
and legs and stomach are fully God. He's fully man, fully God.
They are fully God.
Yes.
Yeah.
Each is proper to his.
Yeah.
So the hands are God.
It's the hand of God.
agree, yeah?
It's the hand of God.
Yeah, it's the hand.
Jesus' hand is the hand of God.
Now, when the Bible says, that God will take God will take you under His wing.
Yeah.
Where did Jesus have a wing?
But that's the thing. We can use analogy, like a bird or a mother hen brings its chicks in.
No. It is analogy.
It is.
It is analogy.
See, this is what I was saying. I was trying to explain before.
analogy.
We have something called the doctrine of analogy.
Yeah.
Which is words aren't univocal or equivocal.
Yeah.
They're analogical, which means that
literally saying you will have the protection.
yes,
right?
yes.
Of the wing.
There is meaning that can be conveyed, and we can understand God through that meaning. That's
But we
conveyed.
never saw His wing.
Pardon?
We never saw His
Well,
wing.
we're not
No, but
talking
we're not
about
saying
him
that he
having
has a literal wing. We're saying that in the way that a mother chick
Mother
brings
hen
in her
brings in
brood
children.
through her wings,
Yeah.
God is protecting His children with, like that.
Yeah.
Like that.
Like
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah,
we
he
have
doesn't have a
likeness.
wing.
No.
No.
So what is He using? What is He bringing?
It's just
metaphorical.
talking about the act of protection.
Yeah, it's a metaphorical. It's a
So
metaphorical.
you accept that as likeness.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Then in that sense, then there's no discrepancy. In that understanding, then that's fine. You can apply that to the understanding
Okay.
of two hands.
So when the
Okay,
Quran
cool.
says that Allah is nothing like His creation. You mean like form and
You would agree.
But
you would
metaphorically, you don't.
You would agree that even that wing that it's talking about would be nothing like any wing you have ever seen here.
We're not saying it's a wing. It's saying protection.
But you agree that sweeping, that wing, would be nothing like the wing
No,
you
we
would
don't
ever see
say
here.
not wing. Protect the thing it's conveying, the meaning it's conveying, which is protection.
Yes.
We'd say I do understand that protection.
But that sweep,
when I was a child, my parents protected me. I understand protection.
but that sweep, right? That metaphor is nothing like you've seen on
But the
here.
metaphor is not conveying like emotion.
And it is something like I've seen, because I've seen a mother hen look after her chicks, and I've seen my mother look after her brood. So it does convey a real reality that I've really seen.
I'm not gonna lie, your boy threw me off.
We can stop here though, bro. We can stop here, bro. What's your name, bro? Ali, yeah, Mason.
You here next week?
Maybe. I'm preaching next week, so
You're
I
here
might
next
be.
week.
I might be. Yeah, I might be. I might
I
not.
think so. Yeah.
I
If
might
you're
be.
next week, then we can do it properly again.
Yeah, no. If I'm here next week, I'm down to do it again, though. I'm down to run it back. It was a good conversation.
I think going off the tablet would have been far better.
Yeah. No, I know what happened, bro. I know what happened. And I apologize to you that all of that happened. I apologize to you that all of that happened.
Wrap up. Fred wants to go to the pub, man.
Yeah, no, I'm ready, bro. I'm ready. Which one's yours? Oh, okay. Well, boy, that was a good conversation. I enjoyed that conversation. You guys enjoyed that conversation?
No.
Went in circles.
I did not enjoy it.
It did go in circles, but ultimately it just
He
shows.
did admit he doesn't know how to.
Yeah, he knew. He doesn't actually know how to answer it. And then when he took it to the Bible and heard how we actually exegete our own texts, then he realized that he doesn't even really have a problem with anything we were saying.
Right. Well, our Bible starts with God walking with man right at the beginning.
Yep.
We don't have a problem with God being infinite and still being perceivable to finite minds.
Yep.
God is outside creation and in creation. We don't have a problem with that. So within our theology, it works. But if he's making absolute statements like he did, then there is either a contradiction or you have to say it's not an absolute statement.
Yeah. And like, I'm cool with guys who would say it's not an absolute statement, but when you're working with a contradiction, then you're just breaking the law of non-contradiction, and then ultimately the Quran can't be from God if it has a contradiction in it. It just can't be. But if you're going to say it's not an absolute statement, then you can keep going.
Tutti